37-foot motorhome being towed down the road. Not driven by us, but towed down the road.
Yep, we had a major issue. We were driving through mountains of West Virginia and it just started shaking. It wouldn't go up hills. It caused us all kinds of problems.
Yes.
And talking about stress, it was super, super stressful.
Very, very stressful.
So they had to tow that 37-foot rig for 2 hours from Grantsville, Maryland, small town Maryland, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Part of the reason was because it was under warranty, so that was the great relief there. Mm-hmm. We didn't buy it new, but it was still had some warranty left in it, and
for the engine and stuff.
For the engine,
the Ford warranty.
So Ford RV towed it and was going to do the work to it, and that's where we want to pick up this week's video.
I'm Lynn,
and I'm Danny.
Welcome to RV America,
the original RV America.
So I will say that this was probably one of the most stressful days that we've had in our entire time that we've been RVing.
Yeah, we've always kind of said it's not if things are going to happen, it's a matter of when things are going to happen. But at least I wasn't expecting things to happen this much, this often. We had one thing after another going wrong, ending with the major thing with the RV.
So it never rains unless it pours. We now have a breaker that's off or a fuse that's off or something in our fireplace, and none of the plugs on this side of the RV will work. Danny is trying to figure it out.
The saga continues on as far as the power inside the rig. Check the GFCI, no issues there. Checked all breakers, all fuses, no problems. So confusing. Everything else was working except those 4 items: the fireplace, the heat pump, and the 2 plugs, one on each side of the bed. And we decided to get on the Jayco Precepts owner group on Facebook, and they've got me checking the generator now. It was still running, so I assumed there are no issues with the generator, but I was just informed there's 2 breakers in here. We're going to check to see if one of them's tripped, and hopefully that's it, and hopefully we'll find out if that was the issue. So to open this, you just pull up here. I might have to use 2 hands. So. Yeah. There we go. And there is a breaker that's tripped. So another thing I didn't realize, I don't think Lynn did, as we plugged in so many things. This is a 30 amp breaker system, so if you try to plug in too many things, that definitely is going to trip a breaker. So I will let you know. We'll start the generator, check the fireplace and other items, and see if they're working. Woohoo!
Yay!
High five!
High five! Fix it!
Wow! Thank you, Jayco Precept Facebook group. Helped us fix this issue here. We learned that there's 2 breakers, and we learned that it's a 30 amp generator. So if Lynn plugs in too many things, pop goes the breaker on the generator. Thanks again to the Precept group on Facebook.
I would like to say that his wife told him to post there like 2 hours ago, and he just kept searching and would not listen.
You know I edit the videos.
Yeah,
this
you
probably won't
totally
make it.
did that.
To my defense, I assumed she was talking about the Jayco forum about RV life, so I did post there, but hadn't heard anything back. But the Facebook group was so much quicker. Thanks.
You know what you do when you assume.
Something about Lynn.
So it's been one of those weeks. Now the front tire of the RV is beeping, so I have to get out and check it out. I'll let you know what's going on.
The front passenger tire has been holding 80 psi. It's about 10 pounds low. We're going to fill it up. It's not losing any more air. We just don't know if the TPMS was a little bit loose, so we don't know if that was an issue. So we'll let you know, but we're going to fill it up and keep on it all day today. One thing we do have on board is a Vire that you hook up to your RV and pump your tires up. It's a great tool to have. I'll put a link down below. It's something that you should carry with you just in case you have any problems like this. Now another must-have that I love to have on the rig is a knee pad. Goes on the ground, protects your knees. That's another thing that you might want. I'll put a link to what we use. Not trying to sell you anything, but just in case you want it.
Way down, we've not got power. Okay, we're having issues.
Dry gas is not working. It's got to be something else. We've got to get it checked out.
Lynn's going to pick up to where we were in Maryland, and the stress of Friday carrying all the way up to the stress of Monday morning. So.
Yeah. Well, starting out with Friday, when we started having our issues and we realized we were not going to be able to drive our RV anywhere else, we went to this little shop and they said, call Ford. They called Ford for us, actually. And Ford said they would tow it in. And we sat there in their parking lot for over 2 hours waiting on Ford to show up to tow our RV to Pittsburgh, which was the only place that could get us in like right then.
Yeah, the great thing they did was call around to each Ford place that could handle that size of a rig. And the first time they called you back and they said, oh, it's going to be 3 weeks before we get to it.
We were like, no, we cannot wait 3 weeks.
She said, let me make another call.
And so then she called us back and she found this place who could get it in today. But after we sat there for over 2 hours waiting on that tow truck, it didn't show up.
I think the tow person that said they originally couldn't. Now Ford didn't call us back and tell us. We're just sitting there waiting and waiting. And then they said, well, how about if we get somebody out tomorrow morning? And that's when Lynn and I kind of talked about, let's just wait till Monday morning. Let's not stress out and worry about where to stay in Pittsburgh. You know,
well, there wasn't a campground that was close to the Ford dealers.
Because our rig wasn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us park in their parking lot over the weekend. They weren't going to work on it because it was the weekend and everyone was off. So we were just going to be down there in another, I guess, in a hotel over the weekend, which we did not want to do. We travel, if this is your first time on our channel, you know that we travel with 2 cats and a dog. Having them in a hotel for an entire weekend just sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yep, and so we did find a hidden gem of a park, and we'll put a little snippet of the park a little bit later on in the video. But just a beautiful place at a great reasonable price, and we showed some of that last week, but I'll show you a little bit more this week.
So this brings us up to Monday. On Monday, we were told that we would have a tow truck there between 7 and 9 in the morning. Now, that didn't happen. I also got on the phone with AAA, which y'all saw I did a short just a little bit ago, and this is the first time we tried to use AAA. They were not successful in getting a tow truck to us at all, because I was like, just use our service, forget them, use our service, and we will roll with that. Yeah,
we really try to have both of them looking for somebody that tows, and I kind of get it. You know, we have a 37-foot rig, so you have to find the right tow vehicle to, not just your average tow truck will pull this. So you need a semi 18-wheeler tow truck type of vehicle, and that's they kept having trouble, but the communication was just not there. Every time we'd wait 2 hours and thought somebody was going to pull up, we'd call back and they said, oh, they canceled, or we'd call the tow person. I told them 2 hours ago I couldn't do it. I didn't have the right vehicle or right equipment.
So about 2 o'clock, our tow person showed up. They got us all hooked up, and away we went on our 2-hour drive to Pittsburgh, which is where the dealer was at that said they could work on us that day.
Yes, you can call me sheep. You can say I'm lazy. You can say I'm weak. But when it comes to her, you better keep it sealed. Don't you dare say a single word, or I will strike you where it feels. You think that using her will get to me, and if you're right then you're in trouble deep. 'Cause I won't break, no I know I won't wait. You're in trouble deep. I don't wanna hear no more. There are certain things I won't ignore. I really think you need to go.
And this brings me to a question. Have you ever had to have your rig towed? I'm just curious, because this is the first time this has ever happened to us, and I want to know if y'all have ever had to deal with this. And did you have the same problems that we had? Just put it in the comments down there so we'll know that we're not the only people with these issues.
I was hoping someone could get them quickly, but I'm starting to see that if you're not in a major town, it's going to probably be a wait game to get your rig towed. So if you ever have that issue, if you ever have that issue, patience is your best friend.
Yeah, patience is your best friend.
So use that.
But then we get down there and we pull to the Ford dealer, and they have a hill going in, and they did not want us. And this is where I'm going to tell a little bit about this guy. They did not want us, or they have a hill that's going in, and our driver, tow truck driver, did not think it was good to take our rig with the front end jacked up that hill into their parking lot. He was afraid it would scrape in the back, which we appreciate that.
So we decided, or I decided, that I didn't want him to, he wasn't going to pull it up, and I didn't want him to back it up. He said he wanted to back it in, and I was worried about it scraping. I knew we can move the rig without hurting it for 100 yards. So we dropped it there right off the side of the street and got it unhooked and everything done. And we were going to pull it up. Lynn was going to pull it up. So you want to pick it up from there?
I backed it down the road with all the guys out there because it was a really busy road. They were out there halting cars and everything. And then I go to pull into the dealer that's going to work on the rig. And out comes this guy in a black truck that stops and throws his hand up in my face and tells me no, that I'm not coming into his dealership. It was the general manager.
And we had already gone through the service tech and our service advisor, and also the service advisor had spoken to the service manager about our situation, because we asked if we could stay in the parking lot, and the service manager made the decision not to have us stay overnight in the parking lot, because it was a fairly small,
It's a small lot. And we understand that. We get that.
And the general manager didn't know about it, and that wasn't the bad thing. Maybe he should have known about it. I don't know. Maybe every day they don't see a 37-foot rig pull into their service center,
Which isn't all that big in comparison.
Yeah,
But
you know, he was dropping cuss words left and right, probably 10, 12 cuss words right there while customers
were standing there.
Yeah, customers.
And then he had the tail end of the rig was sticking out in the road, and he wouldn't move his daggone truck for me to pull on in.
Yep.
I was
so I went up
ticked.
and talked to him and said, "Hey, we've been dealing with y'all since Friday. I guess by then it was 3 or 4 days, and we've already been towed for 2 hours. Ford warranty has already talked to your people."
And I won't even tell you what he said then. He finally just threw his hand up and drove off, and then I pulled on up into the lot.
He wasn't happy. He didn't want it blocking his lot. He's trying to sell cars, but
Yeah, only he
that's
didn't
not the
say
way,
it quite like that.
That's not the way to handle it. Yeah.
But the general manager was a butt, to say the least.
Yes.
But now let me tell you, Zach, if you go to this place here, and I'm sure Danny will put the name of the dealership up here, Zach is the guy that you want to talk to. He was absolutely fabulous. He did a great job. I mean, like, he took care of us like no other,
Yeah.
He realized that we were in a really tough situation, and he wanted to do his best for us.
The shop manager, the mechanic himself,
They stayed late
they stayed late
to fix our rig that day.
and got it fixed that day.
Now,
within
under-
hour and a half, 2 hours?
We left and went to Wendy's, and before we got our dinner eaten at Wendy's, they called us and said it's fixed. You can come back and get it. Now, there's one thing I do want you to understand, and that is that we didn't get to this shop until about almost 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it was almost 5.
And that was almost their quitting time. But these guys told us, they said, we will stay and get you on the road.
Yeah, and Zach said we're busy. We're considered backed up, but we, had a heart for us that didn't want to not make it to our grandson's graduation. That's one of the
Which
things.
is Friday night.
Yeah, which is coming up just a matter of a few days, and he didn't want to see that happen. So he wanted to help us. So shout out to Zach and the mechanic Tom, and I didn't get the shop manager's name, but all great people. That service department was fantastic, and the general manager needs to go through. After managing
Some training.
people,
He needs some training.
I've managed people for over 40 years. You don't
blow up in front of customers.
number one, you don't treat your employees like that. He was cussing his employee. And number two, you don't do it in front of customers. So that's not a good deal.
So if you ever wonder if there's still good people in the world, rest your mind. Trevor, our tow truck driver, Zach, the technician guy who got us in there, service tech, or I don't know exactly what his official
Service advisor.
title is, and all the guys back there in the shop, they were absolutely wonderful. I told them they were an answer to a prayer, and we feel very blessed to have gotten the crew that we got together to work on it. We have moved on. We got 2 or 3 hours under our belt. We didn't leave there until like 6:30 or so.
Yeah,
And
we finished up, and we had a over 10-hour, 12-hour to get to that graduation. So, as you know, we don't like to drive more than 3-4 hours a day.
But we did.
We left, and we don't like to drive at night.
No, and we did that too.
So we left
last night.
Left there about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and knew it didn't get dark up here in the Eastern Time Zone until about 9ish. So we drove a couple hours to get farther down the road to help us get there. Now we're on track. We only got 3 more hours to go.
Yeah,
to get.
We'll be in their town tomorrow. Get to see our grandchildren. Before we share with you exactly what was wrong with the rig, I want to let you know that we were able to make it to Boston to visit with our grandchildren that live there and to see our grandson graduate from high school. But stay tuned because we do want to share with you exactly what was wrong with our rig.
Your shadow stretching.
You can see him, right?
There he is.
Michael James Alexander Benjamin Himlin. Cassandra Elizabeth Hobson.
I know you need it too, because we have been working hard right from the very start. Who knew we get this far? Call it a day and celebrate.
So we made it all the way to Massachusetts.
Yep, Boston.
Downtown Boston. We're gonna do the Freedom Trail today. And guess what we did? We picked up a hitchhiker. Our grandson, Brent. He's hanging out with us and we're gonna do the Freedom Trail.
This quiet town, I see you there, your feathers on the ground. Your eyes are heavy with the weight.
So you're asking, is that real gold up there? Yes. In 1876, when our nation turned 100 years old, they gilded it with gold, so it's covered with gold. The Massachusetts State House is the longest continuous serving state house in America.
What's in a life you never could offer? Even if you never flown before, you can take a chance and try once more. Don't let your worries weigh you down, down, down. You can still take flight, although you're earthbound. Made to soar amongst the clouds, but never learn to rise above these crowds. Stuck in the dust of the life that you found, with nowhere to go, no higher ground. Even if you never flown before, you can take a chance and try once more. Don't let your worries weigh you down, down, down. You can still take flight, although you're earthbound.
So let me say, Danny and I have determined that we are 100% not city people. Put us in the woods any day of the week, but don't put us in the city. We totally enjoyed our trip to Boston, but let me tell you a couple of tips. Number one, check the calendar to see what's going on downtown before you go. We got in the middle of some things and there was like a million people there. And we just don't like to be around all those people. We prefer to be in the woods on a trail. So be sure you check the calendar to know what's going on downtown before you go. Also, we want you to know that the Freedom Trail is really nice. We enjoyed it, but I don't know when all this started. The last time we were on the Freedom Trail, it was not like this. you have to pay a different price for every one of the places that you go into. It's $5 here, $10 here, $15 here to go into each of these individual buildings. And you know, that just really adds up when you've got 3 people going in and out of those things. So be prepared for that and decide whether or not you want to do that. The outside is still cool to see, and that's what we did. We didn't pay to go in anything. You guys know us. We try to be conservative. We sure couldn't do boom, 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 boom on paying. But those are just a couple of tips and things you need to know before you go that we didn't know, and we hope it'll help you if you decide to go downtown and make it a good, safe trip.
So not only was the towing part very stressful, I did want to point out that the not knowing.
Yes. Oh, that was bad.
We had and having a 80-day trip scheduled to go to the Northeast to see our grandson graduate, to go to Maine, to go into Canada and just enjoy the Atlantic provinces, and then go through Quebec to see Quebec City, see friends on the way back. Just so many things planned, and the worry of not knowing.
Are we going to make it?
Are we going to make it?
Is our trip dead?
Right. Because we knew it could be something as simple as plugs, and here's what it was. Plug had to be changed. The coil wire had to be changed. They've been having trouble with coil wires with the Ford F53, which is the chassis, and I think that's what it was. They've kind of redesigned them, and they're encased in metal for part of them, and with the heat or the stress, vibration, there could be a short or ground or something like that. So that's what it was. But it could have been so many things. It could have been the engine had to be rebuilt. So we were so worried of what was going to happen and where we were going to be and what we were going to have to cancel. But with them helping us and getting things done within hour and a half, 2 hours, it was oh man, we felt so much relief, and it just has gone good. So we're back on track.
Back on track, on with the trip.
Yep.
Until next time, God bless and many safe travels.
And go RV, America.